Hello, I'm Dr. Bill Spady, and I'm here with my close colleague, Tom Schnitzius, to explain to you the importance and the outcomes of the first course that we're going to offer in our series of courses and classes that are part of the fifth paradigm. We've put this course together primarily around your work, Tom, dealing with life strategies, which I'll interpret as the way we've locked ourselves into living, and often very, very subconsciously, but the things that drive and determine our choices that keep us from really experiencing who we are and fulfilling our lives in a deeper way.
Yeah, it's a very, as you know, it's a very unconscious choice that we make very young in our lives, and they're based on really the experience that you're having at that time in your life. And there's so many various experiences that each person has. There's a huge variety. And from that experience, by the time you're 7 years old, it seems that we form this unconscious way, this unconscious box, as kind of Bill was explaining it, that we stay in for the rest of our life. And we actually make choices unconsciously through that box and through those ideas that are in our head, and we support ourselves in what we call a circle of life. You know, if we look at our hobbies, our habits, our relationships, and so on, those choices are all driven by these themes, or these, I guess, personality ways of looking at personality or looking at yourself, and we're totally unconscious about it until one day we wake up. We might have a crossroads situation happen, and we wake up and realize that, wow, I'm supposed to be happy. I have a house, I have a home, I have kids, I have a number of things that I have in my life, but there's still no genuine happiness. So we tried to form something that we felt was a really strong base to work from in all the various avenues that we presented at Fifth Paradigm website. And this is one of them. This really helps us to understand where we came from. To go on into this just a little bit, we're not going back to understand how we can look at other people or judge other people or even judge ourselves in those moments. It's kind of a fact-finding mission. It's a search to find out, why do we do the things we do? And finally put some consciousness to it to understand that, and understand that we have other choices that we can make.
I think that's really key. We can go back and analyze. To me, it's the decisions we made to keep ourselves safe.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay? From the assaults of our society, from the assaults of our educational institutions, the assaults psychologically that come to us from family and culture, we develop a way of being safe.
Right.
And that way of being safe turns into, very often, a rigid pattern of how to behave in the world, where we aren't choosing, okay? We're not experiencing what's there to experience. We're simply doing the pattern. We're simply doing our reaction. And I think that the framework that you've borrowed from Carl Jung and amplified, et cetera, is a very sound one. I think there are more things that each of us contribute to that to expand it. But it relates very deeply to people seeing how they're behaving and seeing what lies beyond it. And the reason we've declared this to be an introductory but prerequisite workshop is because it unlocks so many of those deep things in people. Not only an understanding of how they're behaving, but also experiencing what things can be like from a deeper fifth paradigm perspective. And without that, going into course number 2, which is really about fifth paradigm living, course number 3 about fifth paradigm leadership, or course number 4, which is about fifth paradigm education, those things will only be absorbed at an intellectual level
Mhm.
unless people really engage deeply in this first workshop.
As Bill's saying, there's a definite feeling of that experience, which is when we start talking about fifth paradigm living and fifth paradigm experience. It's about experience. It's about feeling. Going back into those avenues of the past has a unique feel for each individual. You can bring that forward with you, and so then when you do start experiencing from your heart, the new choices that you start making in the world, the new choices that you start using, and anything that you, any road you go down, you can understand, is this the same old thing again? Is it the same feeling, or is it something new? I believe that if it's something new, then you are loving yourself. You are allowing yourself to open up to new realities, to open up to new experiences, which is a part of loving who you are. Then you have a better choice as you go forward with that. So that kind of leads into the next part of this experience, and that's the spiritual process. But without the understanding of these other principles, it's really hard to move forward.
You know, Tom, I felt I had done a lot of evolving and growing through the years, and you know, those are the things that I put in my book. But I must say that when I took this course from you, and the growth I experienced, and the expansion I experienced, and the regrounding of my perspectives and feelings, wow, I have to say, it really changed my whole view of everything. That is, it really took me up another level and gave me a different kind of grounding and perspective on who I could be and how I could work with these other things that I had developed, whether it was the education things or the leadership things or even the living things. They all took on a new perspective for me.
Yeah, and really, I believe it assists us also to then understand how we can connect with other people, and not from a judgmental point of view, but from an understanding point of view, from a compassionate point of view. Once we understand that compassion for ourselves, for what we had walked through and what we had to understand and experience, we then can understand how others are walking through some of the same things. Of course, in their own unique way, but we can't understand it. We can show compassion for that. Doesn't mean we have to accept those kind of things in our lives, because of course, once we understand what really genuinely loving ourselves is all about, we don't accept harm to ourselves in any way. So, and so we also don't project harm as well. So and there's where that compassion comes in as well. So,
yes. Well, this this has certainly given me a different feel to how I experience all kinds of things that have been familiar to me in my life. And I know that people who are interested in inner growth, or what we're calling in fifth paradigm work, our inner realization, that really starts to build and grow from this first course.
Yeah. The other part of this first course, as you know, Bill, is the spiritual process. And in spiritual process, what happens there is we've put together an understanding of kind of all the indigenous cultures' ways of looking at a spiritual path. You can go to the Tibetans, you can go to the Aboriginal tribes, you can go to the Hopi Indians, even into the Christian church and to various other religions. And the basis of all these cultures had in them certain ingredients that really assisted us to walk down our path. And those four ingredients, at least what I found in those four ingredients, were number one, and probably the most important one, was awareness. A sense of awareness of ourselves, a sense of awareness of what's going on around us, a really deep sense of awareness within our heart. Without that, we even can't even go into the next three, as you know. I mean, the awareness piece is gigantic in this whole thing. And once we get the awareness, now we understand too, the next thing is that we have different choices that are available to us. Through those different choices, then we can start really truly living our life. We couldn't even do it before because, of course, all the choices were being made by the strategies or the personalities that we had before. To open up those choices and to really understand what goes on for us in that way, can really start deepening our process, our spiritual path. Well, once we make those choices, and there could be a number of them in front of us, the next step after that is to feel or experience in those choices. So to deepen the feeling, to deepen the experience, what is really actually happening here? I made this one choice, so now what is the experience that it's providing me? How is it bringing love into is it enhancing my ability to love myself or not? What is happening here? Once I understand that, and awareness is a part of that whole process through the whole thing. Once I understand that, then I can understand what I'm going to let go of. If I'm going to keep anything within, I might find this experience was wonderful, 100%. I'm going to keep the whole thing. Well, now I'm going to walk into a new experience after that. But what is going to be let go of? So there's a letting go process that takes place as well. We present all aspects of that in this section, in this part. And it's really important to understand that not only will you understand how you did things before, but now how can I change that? What is available to me to move past that and to move on?
The opening up of these sets of choices, as well as the opening up of one's feeling system within their heart and within their entire body, really is prerequisite to fully experiencing what lies ahead in these other courses.
Yeah.
And it's not that I think we feel rigidly about, well, there should be prerequisites or else it can't be good.
Yeah.
It's not about that at all. It is that the individual, the participant in our courses really needs to have experienced some of these things in order for the later things to really, really come home for them.
So yeah, we welcome you to come and share this with us. We're both going to be teaching this part as a tandem, and we have a lot to offer you, I believe, from both aspects of who we are, and we welcome you to join us.
Indeed. Please do.
Thank you.